Hello everyone. In this video I'm going to discuss eskers, and I'm going to show you many examples of eskers from all over the world. But before I do that, I want to show you guys what the consensus idea of how eskers form, which is from glacier deposition. So here's this video.
We have this meltwater channel, lots of water coming across the glacier, and it's dropping into a moulin or a mill well. It's just spiraling down to the base of the glacier.
Wow. And we saw something like that near Kamloops, didn't we?
Well, we saw the end result, because what would normally happen is if there was glacial till, ablation till on this ice, it would be carried in the meltwater stream as glacial fluvial material drops down through the moulin, and it would pile up to form a nice conical cane. From there, you get an esker, sands and gravels being deposited underneath the ice. This is the environment which starts the formation of these large canes and these big eskers that we see on the landscapes across the country.
Okay, so that sounds like a pretty decent explanation, but I'm going to show you why it's severely flawed. So we only get one example in the whole video of an esker formation, and it's not a very good photo because it's from ground level. We don't get to see an aerial view, and we don't get to see how they're linked together, because these rarely form by themselves. They're in groups. So I'm going to show you using satellite imagery these supposed eskers. Now, they do have, somewhat of a curve like a river. So they think that this was all from river deposition. Never mind that rivers actually erode things, right? Things are only deposited underwater. So they're 100% off in that, first of all. But second of all, these are ripples, right? It's pretty easy to see that there's no way that these could all be rivers right next to each other depositing all of this material. Let's just try to get a wavelength on a decent one here. Wavelength start about 1,400 feet. So these are very large ripple patterns, and they're way too close to each other to be anything to do with glacier meltwater rivers, and they're all deposited horizontal to one another. Okay. Now I'm just gonna let's show you this one. All right, so here we get a drumlin pattern. There's drumlins all throughout here, right? Which is these show the parallel lines of the water current. And when we zoom in, perpendicular to the drumlins are the ripples. This is very basic fluid dynamics. And these are all the quote-unquote eskers, perfectly perpendicular to the drumlins. Let's go to Alaska. Another great example of the eskers coming through this mountain pass. And then perpendicular, perfectly perpendicular, are the quote-unquote eskers, which are ripples. And they're right on top of the esker, or right on top of the drumlin. And see if we can get a wavelength. 250. So these ones are a lot smaller, but nonetheless, that's a big ripple. See if we can. Let's look at this guy here. So here we see the esker coming across here, esker coming across here. Looks like a river current subdivided it. See that? That's how mounds form. So that's why these are actually large mounds. You go over here, you get more of a mound formation. And then we zoom out. This is why you have to look at everything on Google Earth. You zoom out even more, and you see that this is a streamline formation here. Okay, you can see how the current wrapped around this, and it streamlined this feature. And then you get more of these ripples. And then you've got the mounds, you've got the scours, which are, you can call them thermokarst lakes, but they don't have anything to do with the melting of the uh, the permafrost. They actually have to do with it being a water scour, just like the drumlins, the eskers. All of these are water fluvial features. I just want to try to cover. I want to give you guys as many examples as possible. That way, you get the most understanding. If you have a video with only one photo, you're going to have a very minimal understanding. So here you've got beautiful mounds. You can even see the streamlined tail of the mounds, right? All from water. And then in between, in the valleys, right? This is lower elevation than the mounds. You've got the ripples, which they mistakenly call eskers. Okay. Let's show you guys some more examples. Right. This is really cool stuff. And you can see how the current was kind of complicated because it pushes all these ripples around one another. And they're all around streamlined features. And yeah, these are drumlins here from the sweeping water current that swept off the landscape. Now this here is actually a type of ripple formation that I call a pushed ripple formation. And you can see that the steep side of the face is this side, and that would be the leeward side. And you see how this is rounded here? That's a fluvial sediment lobe. Okay, so if you've watched more of my videos, I can't explain all this right now, but I've explained this in greater detail in past videos, my fluid dynamic video. But yeah, these are sediment lobes that got pushed forward. All of these were pushed by a water current, have absolutely nothing to do with glaciers at all, or solid ice rather. You can always say that there was a meltwater event, but all we see from the landscape, when you read the erosion and see what the erosion says, it only says fluid dynamics by all these sediment lobes and then the pushed ripple formation. And let's just get a little wavelength check from the slip face to the slip face. It's 1150 or so feet. And then this is a little canyon here, or a valley. Let's check the valley width in miles. Almost 5 miles. That's a decent little river valley.